Hi, everyone. I am Cynthia Newland. I'm so thrilled to have this time to
Cynthia, unmute yourself.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Cynthia Newland. So thrilled to have this time to be together. And I am an educator. And because of that, I like to use visuals, a PowerPoint here. So here you are with our amazing group of women for our Naturally Clean, Beautiful, and Functional, because we know there's a lot of questions out there and a lot of interest in learning about how can we make our healthy living more simple. So you're going to hear some incredible tips today about how we can do that from some amazing women. So I welcome you. As I mentioned, I'm an educator. My background is in the arts. I have a master's degree in dance, was a professor at a university, danced professionally, have traveled around the world to every continent except for Antarctica, and have been able to see a lot of amazing sites, but also to work in a lot of incredible arenas. But I also have a certification as a health and wellness consultant and coach, and have a real passion to feed and fuel and nourish and nurture people with education that will help them to be the best them. So why would we put together an event like this, Naturally Clean, Beautiful, and Functional? This is a sad statement, and I just got this recently off of the EPA website, that research now are showing that they've developed the computational toxology chemistry dashboard to provide public access to data collected on over 760,000 chemicals. That's way too much. Of having things like that we have exposure to. There's also another recent research as well showing that there are more than 10,000 additives used to enhance the shelf life, appearance, taste, or nutritional value of food, including over 3,000 that are quote unquote generally recognized as safe. So we are here to help bring some education and help give some just helpful practical steps and tools and resources that will guide you. So what to expect today, you're going to hear from these three amazing women, hear their stories and why they are a part of these communities that they are a part of. We also have some giveaways that's going to include a wonderful resource foundational toolkit with Branch Basics. We've got a beautiful, wonderful, one of the newer products from Crunchi that you'll hear some more about. And then as well, a little sample packet from Juice Plus also. And then in our follow-up email, we're going to have a recording link that you can listen to again, because there's going to be a lot of wonderful information that you're going to gain. We're going to send out some other tips and resources from each one of these companies as well, just to continue the education and to gain information and resources and practical tools, again, as I mentioned. So I'm excited. I really, as I mentioned, love the aspect of fusing every part of us and our body and our soul and our spirit. And this was just a verse that I read recently that came to heart and mind as I move on to the next section here. I just want to start off with this mindset that says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And so I have found with these women and the work that they're doing, they're pursuing excellence. And it is praiseworthy because they're making a difference in the world today where they're living, and the impact is so great. And so I wanted to be able to bring together this community to be able to share and collectively do some greater good. So without further ado, Kelly, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Kelly is the co-founder of Branch Basics. She just lives right down the street from me here in Jackson, Mississippi. And her daughter, my granddaughter, go to ballet together. So we've got some community connections, but also this real passion to inspire and encourage wellness. So Kelly, thank you for joining us today. And so thankful that you're here.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you so much for bringing us all together and giving me the opportunity to share this. I'm so grateful. Thank you all for being here and joining today, and feel free to put messages in the chat or whatever. I might just kind of get on a roll and talk, but I'll try and look through them, or we can bring them up for Q&A later. But I just wanted to share our founding story with Ranch Basics, and just give a few practical tips that we can do to improve our home's air quality, because better air means better health. And so my co-founders and I started Ranch Basics because we are just extremely passionate about sharing what transformed our lives. And that is removing products with harmful chemicals and removing foods with harmful chemicals from our environment and our diet. And just getting back to basics, eating real food and using products that have clean, natural, safe ingredients. So just briefly, I'll boil it down in a nutshell as much as I can. But my co-founder, Marilee, is my other co-founder, Allison's aunt. And Allison is my best friend. And Marilee was sickly all growing up. Doctors could never figure out what was wrong with her. And in her 20s, she was told she would never be able to get pregnant naturally, and she would need to have a kidney transplant within a few years because her kidney were starting to fail. And she just respectfully looked up at the doctor and said, "I'm just glad you're not God. I know there's another way." And within a few days, she found out about food as medicine, completely just threw out everything, all the junk food and all the stuff she had grown up with, out of her fridge, out of her pantry, and ate, only organic, real food for plant-based for 10 days, and completely reversed her kidney disease, and has not been on a prescription medicine, has not taken a prescription medicine since. And she also got pregnant naturally. So just incredible. It's just, there's so much power and transformation possible with these changes. And so she obviously became very passionate. So she knew a lot about food, but fast forward, her son, who was very healthy and athletic, coordinated, very intelligent, at 10 years old, was exposed to a mixture of banned and legal pesticides. And completely destroyed his immune system, his detoxification system, his brain. The doctors told Marilee and her husband that he would be essentially a bubble boy for the rest of his life, and they needed to just create a safe room with pretty much nothing in it except a organic mattress, and give him a bunch of shots a day, and that was what the rest of his life was going to likely look like. And again, she just refused to believe that and became a mom on a mission, and started just removing as much stuff from their house as possible that he would react to. You would bring in a bag from the grocery store and he would just start swelling up. His lymph nodes would start swelling up, or he couldn't walk a straight line or spell a 3-letter word, and would have these mood swings and all this stuff. So they actually had to sleep outside. And one night she had a vision in her head of the grocery store aisle and how she can smell those cleaning products and dryer sheets and candles and all that stuff like on those aisles at the grocery store, even though the bottles are closed and sealed. And so it hit her that even the stuff she had like perfumes and lotions and cleaning products and stuff that she really loved, like in a box in the closet, it was still impacting the air quality and therefore impacting her son. And so she took it out. And from that day forward, she didn't tell her husband or her son, because she was like, they're going to think I'm crazy. But the next day, from that day forward, her son was able to be in the house. They started sleeping in the house again. And that was a huge turning point for his recovery. And he is now fully recovered. He graduated from the US Naval Academy, is married with 3 children, has a full, vibrant, healthy life. It's just absolutely incredible. So obviously people just started hearing about Marilee's story and started asking her questions. She became a consultant for years, and and for thousands of people. And it always came back to starting with just removing the harmful chemicals from our diet and our perspective. Because when we believe in our mind that we can heal and there is a way and God's going to provide a way, and that is healing. Because when we hold on to the hopelessness, that actually hinders our bodies from healing like they could. So anyway, so fast forward, then Allison, we're in college, and all of a sudden her body starts breaking down. She became a student with disabilities because her muscular and neurological system started breaking down. She went to grab a milk carton one day and it just fell out of her hand. And she was just riddled with pain. Doctors, again, couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And she was on an ever-growing list of medications, painkillers, muscle relaxers, antidepressants, all this physical therapy, you name it. And she finally had ears to hear her Aunt Marilee and try a more natural approach. And within a month of changing her diet and her products, she finally felt relief. And Marilee was asking her questions like, what are you cleaning with? What body wash are you using? What makeup are you using? What are you eating? All these things. And at first, I'm Allison's roommate, and we're like, what does this have to do with her pain? And Marilee explained to us, like what Cynthia was talking about, how all these chemicals are in our environment now, and in our food, and in our water, and in our air, and contributing to sickness. And so we asked Marilee if we could live with her for the summer after we graduated college, and rest is history. We were just like, oh my goodness, this is life-changing. This is amazing. This is how we're supposed to take care of our bodies. My menstrual cramps went away. I used to have horrible, painful menstrual cramps, like literally would start my cycle and felt great. My body odor went away. My dry, itchy eyes, muscle aches and pains that I was having to treat regularly, just all went away. And I wasn't even trying to target those things. And actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to say this the other day too, Cynthia. Allison was also told in high school that she would never be able to conceive naturally. She actually had thousands of cysts on her ovaries in high school and was diagnosed with PCOS, which is rare, or was rare. It's sadly becoming more and more common. But back then, for her at her age to have that. But after the summer with Marilee, she got engaged. And so she and her husband went to follow up with the doctor, and the doctor came into the office and was like, what have you been doing? Like it's a different body. It's a different person, pretty much all of her ovaries had gone, all of her cysts on her ovaries were gone. And she wasn't even trying to target that. So we just don't realize how much these chemicals that we're exposed to every day impact us, and how many different things can resolve by just removing them. So we started with cleaning products because it's a really easy first step, and cleaning products are actually not regulated. So we tend to think, okay, if something's sold on store shelves, it must be safe. Surely it's been like checked and approved for toxicology testing and whatnot. Well, that's not the case, sadly. And we have to know what we bring into our homes and what we put on our bodies and in our bodies. So cleaning products are full of ingredients that don't even have to be disclosed. So unlike skincare and food, you don't even have to have an ingredient list on a cleaning product. And so it makes it really easy to kind of figure out which ones you want to use and which ones are worth tossing and which ones are worth keeping, because if it doesn't have an ingredient list, that's a red flag right there. But I just want to show you all these real quick. So just to give you all a concept, I actually ran out of concentrate, which is like the main, which is the product, because these are just filled up with water. And then you just add our concentrate, which it was in that picture that Cynthia showed, to the fill line. So you add water to the fill line and then concentrate to the soap line. And then you can top it off with water to just continually refill, making these bottles. And it's just different amounts of water and concentrate for each bottle to help you easily replace dozens of cleaning products, like in one fell swoop. So you can have, your window and glass cleaner, your bathroom cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, which is, it's actually really great for stains and everything. Face wash, makeup remover, hand wash. I bathed my baby in this. Like, we actually did have toxicology testing, and the lab was so blown away that it, our formula actually is super safe to skin, eyes. It's not irritating to the eyes, skin, or lungs. And it actually tested as safe on the skin as the neutral control did. So we went in with really, really high, strict standards, and our company's priority will always be human health. So environment comes with that, thankfully, but we're always going to look at human health and not just the environment piece. So we also have an oxygen boost that takes care of like grout and burnt pots and pans and stains and so many different things. So really our goal was to enable people to, you know, not have to go do a ton of research to try and figure out, okay, what oven cleaner do I use? What do I use? Stain remover do I use? What laundry detergent do I use? This also works for laundry. And, you know, so that it makes it a little less overwhelming to get rid of the cleaners that are harmful. So there's so much I could say, but I do just want to leave you with a few practical tips. We are also, Branch Basics is not a sanitizer or disinfectant. It's a soap surfactant that removes germs. So when you spray and you rinse or you wipe, you're removing germs, which is actually really beneficial for our bodies because, as y'all know, we are made up of a lot of bacteria. And so we don't want to disturb that. And most cleaning products not only contain sanitizing or disinfecting agents that affect our gut health and brain health from our microbiome perspective, but also fragrance. And fragrance alone is one chemical that has asthmagens, carcinogens, allergens, carcinogens, neurotoxins, obesogens, endocrine disruptors, all these things that affect our bodies and our health. So fragrance and disinfecting agents are, and no ingredient list, are really easy red flags when you are going through your cleaning products to look through. And just remember, I just want to remind you, Marilee's aha moment at the grocery store, even when these products, makeup, air fresheners, pesticides, cleaning products, when they're just in our homes, even if sitting in drawers or cabinets, they're polluting our indoor air quality. So if you can just go around your house, put stuff in a box, and anything you don't want to throw away, put in a box outside, so it's at least outside of your, not polluting your indoor air, you will do your body, your family a great service. And this is what I use to disinfect instead when I need to, if I feel the need to. I just put a trigger sprayer on a hydrogen peroxide bottle, and then also on a vinegar bottle you can do, because ideally the two together is supposed to be as powerful as disinfecting with bleach. You don't want to mix them in the same bottle, but you can spray them both. So just going around your house and removing the things that are harmful will immediately improve your indoor air quality. Using safer disinfectants will be extremely helpful. Opening your windows for 10 minutes a day and just getting fresh air throughout your home will greatly improve your air quality. And regular vacuuming, removing dust, like using a HEPA vacuum. We have an article on our website that has some different HEPA vacuums that we recommend that have closed sealed canisters that don't just release dust back into the air. But regularly removing dust is so extremely helpful too, because these chemicals bind and attach to the dust. So chemicals that we can't smell, like SVOCs, flame retardants, for example, and chemicals that we can smell, like fragrance, all ride on that dust. So you want to clear the dust as much as possible. So I'll wrap it up with that. That was a lot.
That's so great, Kelly. Thank you for sharing. Hold up the Oxy bag, because I have a funny story about this. We've used Branch Basics in our family for some time, and my husband has a coffee roasting business. They run a little coffee shop. There's a new barista that came in. Well, he took a pot because they were making actually hot chocolate blend to sell, and he just burned the heck out of that pot. And at the basin of it, it just was crusty black. Well, Emma, one of my daughters, told her husband, who's a part of the coffee shop as well, when they saw that pot, the husband said, well, we just have to throw this pot away. And my daughter said, get out the branch basics. Let's put that oxy, on the bottom of it, let it stay overnight. And let's go ahead and scrub it up in the morning. And the husband was like, never way, it's not going to work. And so my daughter's like kind of a little bit like me. She's like, okay, what do you want to bet? He's like, okay, an hour massage. Whoever wins, has to be the recipient of the massage. The other one's given the massage. And so he's like, game on. So basically, we had the pot here. I was the neutral person, so I put it in. I set it on the stovetop, and then the next morning, my husband got up and he did the scrubbing, and it just came right out. And so my husband was like, "Oh, yeah, Emma, she gets the massage." So it was just kind of funny. That
is awesome. I love that story. I feel like you haven't told me that before. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, it works. It has saved many of my pots. Yeah, that's what's so fun about this. Like, you don't have to just give up, efficacy to use safe products. Like, you can have safe and effective, powerful products.
Absolutely. And this is what you didn't have at home. This is what she was talking about, that full concentrate.
Fill to the soap line. Yeah. So awesome. It's mainly water. So we don't ship water, and you have your concentrate that you can mix all the bottles with, and it just makes it really easy.
That's awesome. I'm going to have you all put over in the chat how many of you Branch Basics is new to you. Just write over in the chat, it's new to me, because I'd love to see who are we just informing and enlightening with this. Kelly, thank you so much.
And thank y'all for these comments. I'm just looking at them. Y'all are so sweet and encouraging. And I'm so glad that so many of you have enjoyed using Branch Basics. So thank y'all for the comments.
That's great. Well, we're going to pass it over now to a newer friend. I'm so thrilled, Melanie, to have you a part of this conversation today. And out of the products that we're sharing, the solutions that we're sharing, Crunchi is the newest one to me. And I'm like kind of crazy in love with it. It's really awesome. And I'm so thankful to have found it. Jana actually is on this call. I met her in Florida at the beginning of January at a big medical conference that we were attending, and she had a booth there and I had one as well. And so we just kept going to each other's booths because we were so thrilled to find a kindred spirit. So Melanie is a co-founder of Crunchi, and I'm not going to rob her story right now and just let her share, but Melanie, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Cynthia, for having me. It's an honor, especially to be among these incredible women. And Kelly, I mentioned this earlier, but I have to make sure everyone else knows. I met Kelly today for the first time about a half hour ago, and I have been using Branch Basics in my house from floor to ceiling for years. I love everything I've ever tried. It's fantastic. And I feel like I keep finding new ways to use it. So if you have not tried it, be sure to try it. And I promise you didn't tell me to say that. I just, I love sharing things that work because it's sometimes hard to find, especially that efficacy piece for sure. So hi everyone, my name is Melanie Petschke. I am a board certified nurse practitioner, is my original career. And I'm also the co-founder of Crunchi. And we launched in 2016 with a mission to impact and empower lives by providing sustainable, clean beauty and personal care products that perform. And you heard Kelly mention it earlier, that combination of safety and performance is exactly our whole mission and has been philosophy since the beginning. And I can share a little bit about that shortly. But to give you a little bit about my story, this is actually really timely because when it all really began for me, my journey into living a cleaner lifestyle started, I can say almost to the day 12 years ago Saturday. I gave birth to my first child, and I was living in Seattle, Washington at the time. And like many women have experienced, or I hear from many women have experienced a really similar phenomenon. When you bring this vulnerable being into the world, there's something about it that just really gets you thinking and paying attention to the world around you and your environment and what foods you're eating and what you're bringing into your home. And that's when I started paying attention and opening my eyes. So I started learning more. I was living in Seattle at the time, which is a naturally pretty Crunchi with a Y city. And for those of you who don't know that definition, maybe you'll understand when I start explaining what I was starting to do. So I started eating organic foods and paying attention to the importance of what GMOs were and what are they doing in my foods, and paying attention to things we're putting on our lawn and the products we were bringing into our home. And I started just diving in the research rabbit hole of understanding and really trying to learn more about what I was putting on my body, and what I call now and understand now is to be your body burden, with the ultimate goal of living cleaner, but also reducing that cumulative body burden. And one side note that I'll circle back on later is I realize now this is a journey that really never ends. So just because it started 12 years ago for me, I've come to learn no matter how much time, it really never ends. I feel like we're always learning more information. I feel like we're always learning new ways to reduce the impact of these potential toxins in our environment. So I always remind people that, because it can feel so overwhelming if this is something you're just starting to learn. So anyway, I owe it to my very Crunchi with a Y moms group in Seattle, to my original education. I remember sitting there with my newborn, listening to the conversation and people trading tips. And somebody said, what about finding a safe mascara? And I kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, what is she talking about? Why would I need to be having a resource, finding this resource online, this rating system to find a clean mascara? I had no idea what she was talking about. And so I started learning more and understanding that cosmetics are not regulated in the US, and what on earth is in them and why are they in them and what are they doing to our bodies. And so again, this is just one of those steps along the way that just kept opening my eyes. And here I was, a board certified nurse practitioner, practicing for many years. And part of the reason I picked this path is because it's known for disease prevention and health promotion. And I had never been taught any of this in school. In my training, I'd never been taught any of it in my work environment. Prevention was taught as, did you get your pap smear? Don't forget to get your mammogram, get your colonoscopy. Prevention was not what ingredients are in your deodorant. Are you accidentally slathering your skin in endocrine disruptors and carcinogens? Are you bringing VOCs and indoor pollution into your air accidentally by lighting a candle or putting a fragrance air freshener in your home? That was not on the radar whatsoever for mainstream medical. And yeah, that was just extremely disturbing and eye-opening, and made me kind of have a lot of emotions, but definitely was inspiring to me, just in wanting that to be different. So in 2012, when my son was about 18 months old, we ended up moving all the way across the country. Literally can't get any farther, from Seattle, Washington to South Florida. It's a long story. We're only supposed to be here for a couple of years, and here we are still. But we originally came from my husband's job. And shortly after we had moved, I had my second child, Ella, who advanced my fluency in label reading and ingredient detective work further very, very quickly. Because when she was born, she was diagnosed with a condition called MSPI. And I honestly don't know if it's still referred to that today. I think they may have changed the language, but essentially it was a milk soy protein intolerance. So in order to keep her safe and allow her to get the nutrition she needed and not be in constant pain, I had to remove milk and soy from my diet for the 2 years that I was breastfeeding her. So I dove really hard and fast into every label when it came to food in my home. And I thought I was learning a lot about things like nutrition in our environment, but it just accelerated that much further. And then right around that time is when I met Kelly Kreuzler, who is our other co-founder of Crunchi. And she was also working in healthcare at the time, had kids the identical age, and was also on a very similar journey that I was on. And so we just immediately hit it off. We were both tired of treating disease. We were tired of seeing so much cancer. She had just been in an experience where she had cancer and infertility, and with direct family members of hers. And we were just, our timing when we met was very, very lucky. And being on this journey, we were in the process of changing over all of those things you heard Kelly talk about in our homes, and with our kids, and making sure that pajamas didn't have flame retardants, and trying to figure out and navigate this world. And it felt like you needed a PhD in chemistry to buy anything, which was so sad and frustrating. But of all of the categories that we were transitioning over, there was one that stood out to both of us that was just extremely challenging. And that was the category of cosmetics. And we would try a brand and we would be happy with the ingredients on the label, but the performance would not be great. Or we would try a brand and the performance would be okay. And then we would realize, shoot, we were just greenwashed, because their marketing is really good at making you think that this is clean. And then you would start to dive in a little further, and maybe one product was, but the rest was just a mess. So we got to the point where we recognized that there is a complete need for that combination that we talked about earlier of safety and performance. And we decided to take on the challenge on our own and create a beauty brand that checked all of those boxes. So we teamed up with some, neither of us were makeup artists. I have definitely a science degree, but I am not a formulator or a manufacturer or a chemist. So we got some incredible talents, and we recruited those that were willing to be patient with us, because holy smokes, was it a challenge. And we quickly realized why it didn't exist. But we, regardless of being questioned and regardless of being told no, we just stuck with it and persevered. And like I said earlier, in 2016, we launched Crunchi. At the time when we launched, we had no website. People had to call in phone orders or write them out and email them in. We were functioning out of a guest bedroom and a home office. We didn't have a fulfillment center or a corporate team, but we had a vision. And that vision was to impact and empower lives through clean, sustainable beauty that performs. So that's essentially the story of how we came about. To share a little bit about our products, I mean, you really kind of heard what we pride ourselves on in terms of not compromising, and what really differentiates us from the crowd. Because a lot has happened in those 7 years, and more brands have kind of caught on to this need, but you have to be really, really careful, because marketing is amazing, and there really is a lot out there that can look and appear like it's super clean, but you really recognize where they're cutting corners in terms of compromising. So that was our biggest priority, was if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. And we have stuck with that. So all of our ingredients undergo a stringent screening process before they're allowed to be permitted on our list for a Crunchi product. And each product is not only what we would consider toxin-free, it's also Leaping Bunny certified, cruelty-free. All of our products are non-GMO, which is uncommon in the cosmetic space for sure. All of our products are gluten-free, and we third-party test for that too. So if we have people that are using our lip products especially, or somebody that's at risk for getting products in their mouth and they can't even have a microscopic level of gluten, we do third-party tests for that. And then one thing that's incredibly important to us and is a definite investment is all of our products are crafted prioritizing certified organic ingredients. And that's something you really don't find in the cosmetic space because it's an investment. We'll just leave it at that. It is an investment. It is the path of most resistance and very challenging. And then all of our products are also manufactured in the US, with the exception, or with globally sourced ingredients. And the only exception to that is our pencils, because our wooden pencils, those are really, there's not a source to be able to manufacture with true sustainable wood in the United States. So we take that to Germany, who's been doing it for decades or centuries. And so we take it to the best there. In terms of performance, actually, let me back up really quick. Also, all of our products are vegan, with the exception of not quite yet, but we will in the future have, again, some products that have humanely sourced beeswax. So other than that, all of our products are vegan. And in terms of performance, we talked about it. Really, our standards are to have that same level of performance that you get in a conventional counterpart. I mean, that is our goal as a brand, is to try to meet or exceed what you would get in one of those conventional equivalents on the market. And our third value, in addition to that, is sustainability. So we've always been very focused on being an eco-conscious brand, but over the years, it's become a greater and greater priority to us. And we recently actually partnered with 4Ocean and are officially certified plastic neutral company, which means we take more plastic out of the environment than we are responsible for putting in. And to be totally honest, we don't put a whole lot in to begin with. One of our greatest accomplishments to this date, I say that cautiously because holy smokes is it challenging, but we have 100% of our primary packaging is plastic free. So for example, this is a lip gloss. This is considered the primary component here. And this piece is glass, even though it looks like it's not, it says actually glass. And then this piece is not considered the primary packaging, but this part is still considered plastic. So this is where it comes to that offsetting program, to be able to be trying to remove anything from the environment that we are responsible for putting in as a company. We're constantly finding ways through, we use paperboard packaging. We have a plant-based plastic-free package for our finishing powder, for example. And all of our shipping materials are recycled materials and recyclable. And we also really try to use the most minimal amount of packaging possible, which is also rare in the cosmetic space. Usually you've got this little tiny component and this very large bulky plastic packaging. So we're really trying to make efforts everywhere we can, because there are many characteristics we want to pass down to future generations, but our waste is definitely not one of them. So I'm happy to share more about our products, depending on how much time we have. And I know there's just some questions maybe we can circle back on later, but we've got a complete color cosmetic line. That's how we started. And then we also have moved into skincare. And then we also have one body care product so far and another one joining the team for body care very shortly. Later this month, and some of our sales force, some of our incredible advocates have actually already had a chance to experience that one. I know, Jenny, you're on the call here.
Melanie, thank you so much. It's just, it can feel insurmountable at times, just all the education that we feel like we need to gain. And we just like to take the mindset of just like one step at a time. And you don't have to necessarily, throw absolutely everything out at once. Some people are the extremists, which is great. I can be that way at times, but just like it's the exchange system where you're, no longer utilizing this particular product and you're bringing more good in. For me, just as I mentioned, I have been newly introduced to Crunchi just in the last month, and I really love it. And the item that we're going to be giving away a little bit later is I'm Balm. And personally, I have had under my left eye, a real dry place, which I don't know why it's there, no other place, but it's just a little patch. And since I've been able to use this and use the concealer, I don't have that problem anymore. So for me, it's just a testament of something in it is nourishing my skin that my skin was void of. So just encourage you all to think about what is broken in our systems, and then what is it that we can, draw from these various solutions to help us. And then just always want to keep making sure that we're understanding that we want to keep collaboratively doing more good, but there are people who have invited you to come and be a part of this conversation. And so be sure you're reaching out to them. And if you don't have somebody that's in that particular area, you can reach out to us. We are going to help you. We're going to help you find the solutions that you need. So Melanie, what an honor to have you here. And thank you for all of your work and labor. And it's continuing. I know there's so much more yet to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm, again, excited for this conversation to continue. And one of the joys that we have in life is relationships. And my oldest relationship here is Toni. She and I have known each other since fourth grade. We used to take dance classes together and sleep over at each other's houses, and it just have been friends for a long time. We both turned 60 in February, so we're going to rock our 60s. And I'm just so thankful, Toni, that you're here in this conversation, and always learn from you every time I hear from you. And so it would be a joy to hear from you now and share your wealth of information. So thanks, Toni.
Thank you, Cynthia. And oh my gosh, I am so excited to meet Melanie and Kelly. And I'm going to order my Branch Basics and my Crunchi as soon as I get finished with this call. And I hope it'll make me look like them. They're both so beautiful inside and out. I'm going to share my screen because I'm like Cynthia and I just love visuals. So let me pop this up here. And as we talk about health and wellness, I also like for everyone to remember about performance too, right? Because we can't be our best self if we don't feel well. We can't be the best teacher and the best mom and the best physician or whatever it is that you do in life. And so performance is really important. And my whole career has been based on powerful solutions for health prevention and performance, in particular, as it relates to plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and beans. I started out at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in graduate school in exercise physiology and nutrition, and then went on to become a professor there and director of the Wellness Center over 40 years ago, before wellness was cool. And I became known as the crazy plant lady along the way. And that'll make more sense as we talk today. But I really started looking at research on who lives the longest and who lives the healthiest, and what are those people doing? And it turns out that they usually live in areas of the world that have fewer toxins. So this will all start to fit together, but they do eat the majority of their calories from plants. And this photo means a lot to me because this is my granddaughter with my mom, and my mom will turn 80 this year. I just turned 60, my granddaughter. The idea of creating a legacy of health from the very youngest to the very oldest, and reimagining the norms that we think. We have children getting diseases that used to only be seen in adults. We have adults that spend their last 15 years on multiple medications in nursing homes. Like, what is going on? What could we do as a world, as a community, at a grassroots level to turn our sick care world back into a well care world? And that's what wakes me up every morning with passion and purpose. 20 years ago, I was lonely. I was out in the world teaching this message. And, I thought, wow, I bet there are other people out there that have the same idea, that have different skills and talents than me, right? Voila, Melanie and Kelly and their co-founders. And so I formed this community called Health Made Simple. And the idea behind it is that all of us have this mission of inspiring healthy living in different ways. You might just be the person in the neighborhood who, has a water fountain for all the neighborhood kids. It doesn't have to be anything big, but the idea of all of us coming together in an atmosphere of love and understanding and this knowledge that we can't sit around and wait for someone else to fix things. Like, we've all got to do our part. We've all got to join together. So Health Made Simple, we don't have time to talk a lot today, but we offer like 4 to 6 webinars every week on different topics like this. Cynthia is an amazing part of that. We have every week, we have a shopping list and recipes and meal prep where people can actually watch a person cooking it. You'd be surprised. People sometimes, don't have the kitchen skills that they might need. Connection, people are craving connection, healthy living workshops, lots of online resources, accountability groups. This is one of our recent workshops that we did. And a lot of people are like, I want to eat healthier. I just don't know what to do with this food, right? Some of them order these boxes of fruits and vegetables, and then they get them and they waste in the fridge. You know, getting families back in the kitchen, getting my athletes back into the kitchen. And we all know these things, these health habits that we're supposed to do. Get great sleep, quality of sleep, you know, manage your stress, drink more water, get the toxins out of your life. But when we partner with people and love on people and show them and give them actual solutions like what you've heard about today already, then change actually starts to happen. So for my part, I'm going to focus on what we consider the #1 daily eating problem for the world. And that is most people fail to eat enough fruits and vegetables. It doesn't matter what your dietary philosophy might be. I'm not here to judge anybody, but the truth is, when you look at the data, only like 0.05 of the population actually eats enough fruits and vegetables to be protected. If you look at the government, they say somewhere between 7 and 12, but we've taken athletes up to 20 servings a day, still showing benefit in their body. And that's a lot of chewing, and that's a lot of fruits and vegetables to fit into your budget. And a lot of it's not our fault. We're busy, we travel, we're on a budget. Maybe there's not a farmer's market near you. Maybe your kids are picky. Maybe your partner's picky. Maybe you just don't like broccoli. I don't like green peppers. I've never liked green peppers. But here's the thing. The food supply is not what it used to be when our grandparents were children, right? Our broccoli might have been on a truck coming from 2 weeks from California wrapped in plastic. We are genetically modifying food. We're radiating food. We're adding thousands of additives that our bodies don't recognize, just like beauty products, just like cleaning products. So we have to have more gap insurance. We have to have a way to get this food into our body. So today, what I'm going to talk about is functional food. How can we find a way to get more real food into our body in a way that's affordable and simple and doable? And I happened to find this company 29 years ago. It's called the Juice Plus Company. I was attending a lecture at my local hospital, and I was teaching nutrition, but my own kids had eczema and ear infections and recurrent strep throat. My little boy would only eat white foods that didn't touch each other. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? I need a little support here. And I found this company that is the #1 company in the world for functional food and health food based in plant-based nutrition. They only make really 3 things. One are plant powders, one are oils, and one are an aeroponic gardening system. And so we're going to just dive in really quick because we only have a few minutes, but most of us have really thought about nutrition in the form of macros, like protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And the truth is, most people aren't deficient in those things as long as you're eating enough calories. Like it's kind of not true that most people need more protein. Most of us are getting enough. So that's a story for another day. But what we forget about are the micronutrients. One apple has 10,000 nutrients that have a job in your body. It's pretty cool. So the macros, think of that as like the tip of the iceberg, where the micros are all of that you don't really think about, you don't really see because they're microscopic, right? There's no calories in micros, right? There's live enzymes, there's carotenoids, flavonoids, polyphenols, antioxidants, you know, it's just mind-boggling how many things are in there. And they were put in there in the perfect synergy that your body needs, right? And so if you think about it, most of us, you know, are somewhere along this continuum. You got your couch potatoes on the left that don't do anything, eat potato chips all day. And then on the right, you have my Olympic athletes that I work with that, you know, are doing everything they can to be perfect, if that's possible. But most of us are somewhere in between. And so building muscle, yes, you need those macros, you know, energy, you need those macros, but for conditioning, you need those antioxidants, micronutrients. So think of all those little yellow dots as the thousands of things that are in real food that your body needs. And we've gotten away from worrying about serving size so much. Now we're thinking rainbow, eat the rainbow, because the micronutrients in the red are different than the orange, the yellow, the green, the purple. Onions have an enzyme that prevents cancer that's not in any other fruit or vegetable, right? So everything we recommend through Health Made Simple and through the Juice Plus company is based on real food, right? Occasionally a vitamin might be necessary, but most of them are made in test tubes. There's no quality control. There's no oversight by the government. So we really want to focus on real food. And people know they're supposed to eat more fruits and vegetables, but they just aren't making it happen for some reason. They need that gap insurance, that daily food support. So functional food is now a category that is recognized by the dietetics, by the National Medical Associations. And so we want to find a way to make this more doable for people. And this company, the Juice Plus company, only makes 6 products, and all 6 have one purpose: to help individuals and families eat more fruits and vegetables. It's a very simple message. It fit perfectly with what I was looking for my own family and my clients. So imagine if you were able to get all 30 of those into your body every day, right? So we have 2 types of shakes. One has 15 plants, one has 18 plants. And amazing functional ingredients like mushroom powder, which is the only food that makes its own vitamin D, and beetroot and tart cherry, and of course, all the amino acids for those of you who worry about your protein. Originally the protein that comes in animals came from plants to begin with. So it's a great source that's non-inflammatory. And then a wonderful plant-based omega, which is super important for brain health, eye health, joint health, focus, attention, memory, pregnancy, especially because those babies will suck all of your omegas away from you. And so there's 3 powders. There's the veggie, the fruit, and the berry. They come in plant-based capsules, which protect them from the oxygen, which is really important. There are, again, some competitors now that didn't used to be there, but they don't do things quite the same way as this company, because you got to protect those powders from the oxygen. There's chewables for children and some adults. There are the shakes and the bars, which again are all vegan, all non-GMO, tested at 6 different points for fungus, salmonella, E. coli, pesticides, herbicides, and then, of course, all the banned substances that my athletes can't have in their body. And those powders are just beautiful. So if you think about it, you grow the fruits and vegetables on beautiful farms that only grow for this company. You let them vine ripen. Many of the things we buy are not vine ripened. So you already have lost nutrition. Flash freeze them on site, pulverize them, leaving in the seeds, the peel, the fiber. Another talk that we have tells you about your microbiome. You have to have that fiber. Dry it in an oxygen-free, very cold environment, and encapsulate it, test it at 6 different points, ship it right to the person so it doesn't sit in a warehouse, and they eat it. And the only difference between those beets in the background and the powder in the spoon is the water's been taken out. So pretty simple. And that's why the nutrients are in the same synergy that they were in the original beet or the original apple. So we don't have time for all this. I'm going to flash through these really quickly, and you'll be getting some follow-up information. But for me as a scientist, and my husband's a physician, the studies made all the difference for us to feel comfortable recommending Juice Plus. 47 published papers in some of the top universities and research facilities in the world, independent peer-reviewed research showing your inflammation goes down within 2 weeks. It improves your microbiome. This study was just published, increasing your postbiotics, which help control your metabolism, your immune system, and even your mental health, because your serotonin is made in your gut, can flip your good genetic switches on and your bad genetic switches off. Just fruits and vegetables. Within 80 days, balancing the immune system. That's kind of a hot topic these days. Changing your T cells, your B cells. That one doesn't happen as quickly. You have to be consistent. Improving circulation, reducing risk of heart disease, all of those things. Longevity, improving your telomere length. If you don't know about that, very important. Metabolism in adults and children. This is the only product in the world that's been clinically tested on pregnant women, children, and high level athletes. That are actually published studies on humans, and children get to eat Juice Plus for free, just the cost of the shipping. And the last solution we offer is called the Tower Garden. It's an aeroponic gardening system. So what better way to help people grow toxin-free, high nutrition than to grow it on their own patio or in their own home. They're beautiful. We have a workshop that just tells you about these, and we're putting these farms in neighborhoods, Yankee Stadium, Orlando Convention Center, multiple schools with a curriculum, and just changing the face of where we get our food and where it comes from and how good it tastes and how vine ripened it is. So I just I can't do my work anymore without this little gap insurance that I use for my clients. And what we're trying to do is create that compounding effect of taking people on the upswing as they're changing their nutrition, their beauty products, their cleaning products. We're partnering with the #1 Olympic training center in the United States to offer Juice Plus products and the smoothies and growing tower gardens and the plant-based omegas with every single athlete. And we need this. We need it during pregnancy, birth, working out, every phase of life, families, cycling, athletes, senior citizens. And so this is, probably the best hack that I've ever found as people are trying to eat healthier and doing the best that they can to bridge that gap. And I wanted to end by just sharing that you never know what life is going to throw at you, what storm it's going to throw at you. And for me, it was mold in my house. So I was eating super healthy and I was, exercising, and my husband and I started getting sick. And turns out our HVAC was put in wrong. We had mold under our house. He thought he had MS. I had so much mold, plastics, and motor fuel in my body that they said most people would be having seizures. So I was already using great cleaning products. I was already eating plant-based. I was already doing Juice Plus. So I was able to survive that with very minimal inconvenience, except for having to spend a lot of money to have my house remediated, where other people are in wheelchairs. So doing all of these things is good for the present, but you just never know what life is going to throw at you. And you want to be ready. Like, you want your body to be ready. You want your environment to be as ready as possible. And I'm just so grateful to be here today and be a part of this. So thank you, Cynthia, for inviting me. I'm honored to speak with these other two amazing ladies.
Toni, thank you so much. So you might have heard me say it earlier that she and I have been friends for a long time. And it wasn't until I really started looking at just my own life and transition, working full-time at the university where I was the chair of the dance department, and really wanting to step away and make room for other areas of my life. Health and wellness was one of those with my coaching business, but also soon after that, we started having lots of grandkids. So I have 6 grandchildren now, all within like 4 years. They live within 3 miles. So it's fun to have, a legacy to continue to live. And I know that all of these ladies are doing that. But when Juice Plus was introduced to me and I was really considering it seriously, I had this recessed place on the left part of my jaw where my teeth roots were exposed. And I'm just stubborn. I might look kind of nice, but I'm kind of stubborn. And I just want to go to the dentist. But basically what happened was, after about 6 or 7 weeks consuming all of this amazing nutrition Toni talked about, I no longer had that concern. My gum tissue grew back. And so that was, for me, a real wonderful solution to be able to say I've had practical experience. And then also just the work I do at times, I'm on the road, I'm traveling a lot, and being able to take the little pouches with me, taking our small, concentrated drink mix. That just is something that I can travel and go with. So there's a lot of
we both had terrible allergies growing up too. We couldn't be near kitty cats and all kinds of stuff. And I'm very grateful that all resolved. So, but thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Well, actually, Toni, if you'll spotlight everybody, that would be great. The the speakers. What I'd love to see over in the chat, would you all note, and probably the better way to do it now is, what would you like some more information on? Because I'm getting ready to do some giveaways. So would you like more information on Branch Basics? Would you love more information on Crunchi, more information on Juice Plus? Pop it over in that chat, because we're getting ready to do a giveaway, and I'm tallying up some
all
things.
of the above. All of the above.
Yeah, I know. So ladies, if you're able to just take a quick look in the chat, I know we've got a few questions that are related to your specific areas. And so I've just opened that up. I know one of them, Kelly, was talking about packaging, was a question that you had. And then there was another one, Melanie, to you, I think it was, and this is my naivety, the EWR or the EW something. If you could speak to that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy to dive in. So I actually saw a couple questions. The one about EWG. So EWG is a website that's one of many rating systems that exist for various products. And the biggest piece of information to know about any rating system, I'm sure it sounds like some of you are familiar with them, some of you may not be, is there is no perfect rating system that exists to this day that we have found. Back in the day, you could voluntarily submit your products to EWG and they would rate them. And it was kind of a very consistent rating system that they used to do that. And you were allowed to submit details pertaining to your formulas that helped them understand the use of the ingredients in the product. And then over time, they created their verification program, which they charge a very large sum of money for, like a lot of rating systems do in order to fund it. But unfortunately, when they did that, they removed the ability for those that voluntarily submitted their products to be able to submit details. And they created this overarching rating system. So basically, that created a challenge for us, because products that we have up there, that we were now being penalized for ingredients that are necessary to be in there for the pH or the safety, if that makes sense, or it's a botanical, like an essential oil, and they don't know, is it that botanical essential oil at 80% and that's gonna burn somebody's skin, or is it at 0.01% for a nice aroma to add to a product? So we paused at that moment and said, are we going to continue to put our resources and put money toward this rating system? We're still debating because it is a very large investment, and those resources can be used in other ways to be able to demonstrate safety of our products, such as third-party testing for heavy metals, other types of third-party testing, various testing that we can do on our own and share and disclose. So hopefully that makes sense. Bottom line is there's no perfect rating system. We've got some products up on EWG. Sadly, if you look closely, some of the things that are highlighted and pulled out back in the day, they had much better, just a couple that I'm referring to, but botanicals especially end up getting flagged for higher ratings and they don't look safe. The reality is the way it's used in the formula is safe. They just will no longer accept our percentages. So at this time, we have not moved forward with the rating system. There are some newer kids on the block when it comes to rating systems. And so we're really being methodical and deliberate and intentional with our dollars and making sure that we are putting them where we can really get the message across that we want to. And hopefully that makes sense and answers your question.
Thank you, Melanie. I put in the chat, I see lots of people talking about the mold. So I'm happy to serve as a resource. This has been a long journey, but everything you're hearing here feeds into it. The cleaning products, the beauty products, the Juice Plus, the eating more plants, because the plants get that out of your body. That you make more glutathione, which is one of your top detox antioxidants. So I'm happy to help anyone. Cynthia is going to send out our contact information. So Kelly, you need to unmute.
Go ahead, Kelly. You need to unmute. Are you able to?
Here,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it kept saying the host doesn't allow you to unmute yourself. So thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to echo Melanie with the EWG. We've had, like she said, there's no perfect rating system. And I can attest to the same thing, some things that we've run into with EWG. I will say that we are Made Safe certified. So this is the Made Safe logo. And Made Safe is a really great, very stringent certification. And really, it's kind of the only one that Marilee was willing to really do and put money and resources and time and energy behind, because it is the best one that we know of. So Made Safe is a great website you can go to and find other, you know, products that are Made Safe recommended. And I'm sorry, I was looking through all the comments. I didn't see, was there a specific question about packaging? I didn't see it.
I think it just was at the beginning that I saw it, but I think you're addressing it through the Made Safe.
Yeah, Made Safe. And then I actually don't have my my glass bottles now, but we do. So these are plastic. And like I said, they're refillable. So they're not single use. You don't just throw them away. You actually refill them and use them over and over again. But we also have our glass starter kit. And we now have our full complete starter kit. It took us a while to add the foaming bottle, but we have the spray bottles, the foaming, and the glass bottle, all in glass. And then, the laundry bottle, all in glass. And then this is the only like recyclable pouch out there. Most pouches that even look like they might be recyclable actually aren't. And we're actually working on compostable, but even those, most of them you have to take to a specific facility. They don't just compost in your, in your trash, in your backyard or in your trash can. So there's a lot there. It's been a lot to learn, but we are always trying to do our part there and make improvements.
How about any other questions you all see that you'd like to address, or any other ones that are in the chat?
Our products are biodegradable. I said, wow. And yes, BPA free, phthalate free, lead free, all that. Yes, great questions.
Okay, awesome. Good. Well, I think maybe we'll start to wind down here. We've got a numbering system. So I'm actually going to call out to you ladies. So first, going in order in branch basics. So just number 1 through 20, you choose a number. Kelly and I will circle it and let the person know who wins the free giveaway from branch basics. So 1 through 20.
18.
All right. 18 is Isabel or Isabella. Congratulations. I'll follow up and make sure that you can get.
Yes, we'll get that to you.
Get that.
I'm 16.
All right. That is Madison. Is there Madison?
Type in the chat if that's you. Way to go.
Congratulations, Madison. And then let's use plus. So let's 1 through 18.
I'll go with a low number. Let's do 4.
Is Cynthia Weisel. It's my chicken scratch. But Cynthia. So there we go. Congratulations. Go ahead.
And just to be clear, I saw people guessing on the side, and someone was talking about their number. Cynthia has a list that she is looking at where they're numbered. So it wasn't based on people guessing in the chat.
Yeah. I've been madly being a little teacher here and writing down my notes. So to make sure that we all it's fair. And a lot of you, or probably like 90+ % of you, I've never met you. Probably almost 99% of you have never met you before. So it's awesome to have this connection with so many amazing women. And I'm just thankful for this time. And I just bless you women here who have spoken and participated and imparted your knowledge. I am a firm believer that we've all been fearfully and wonderfully made and designed, and that there's a God that loves us and cares for us and wants us to live life to the fullest. And so you've brought a lot of fullness to us today and helping us to gain more information and education. And so I just bless you for that. And I know that each one of us here on the panel bless you participants as well. It is tough out there in the world, and there's a lot of challenges that we face every day. And I just pray that you will be encouraged today and know that you are being seen, and know that there's people who have some answers. We are ready to continue to help and serve and support you in this incredible life that you have to live and that we all have to live. And so again, I'm just so thankful for this time and for you ladies here to share your expertise. And so do remember, as I send out the recording, and as you're thinking about the people you wish you would have been able to hear this, we'll make sure that you get that recording link, and you're welcome to share. But whoever has invited you, be sure to reach out to them, and they will have more information or be able to connect in with some of us so we can continue to help you to flourish in this incredible life that we are so blessed to live. So anyway, I think that'll be it. We'll bring it to a close. And again, thank you all. God bless you. God bless.
I just wanted to say too that I put a coupon code for Branch Basics in the chat just now. So and you know, maybe Cynthia, you can email that out too. So
yes, I'll make sure that we get that. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.